right, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, January 16th, 2015, and this is Before the First Cup with Jules and Zorie here on UCY.TV. Good morning, Zorie.
Good morning.
Apparently nobody cares our show is on because only one person clicked on our coffee cup.
Oh, no.
That's awesome. It makes me want to get out of bed.
I didn't even make it to bed last night. I got my computer back and everything was going fine till last night, getting things installed. Flash won't install.
Yeah.
And you can't do nothing hardly without Flash.
That's not surprising. Flash won't install. It's a big government spy bug, so your machine
Well, I would think they'd want to
probably...
be in there then. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably tagged you as a terrorist.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
No Flash for you.
No shit.
I would think so.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can't do much without Flash. That sucks.
You can't. I can't even get in the chat room.
No, you can't.
Nope.
So, you know what? If you do go to the actual ucyradio.chatango.com, on that page, that's the Chatango page.
Right.
On that page, there's an option for an HTML5 version of it, so you could probably hit that and get in.
Yeah, okay, I'll try that later. I just, I have had it with computers for one day. I just want to shoot it.
Oh, well, I did the absolute extreme opposite from you. I climbed into bed about 7:30 with my kid and my cat and a game of Scrabble. And we played Scrabble till about 9, and then I slept straight through until 8 a.m. this morning.
I can't wait for 8 a.m. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I did that 2 days in a row. I said, screw everything. I left here after the show and didn't come back.
Hey,
I've been 2 days delinquent and missing, MIA. But, hey, I feel better.
Hey, life goes on.
Yeah. So, I'm starting to see some disturbing global pictures getting painted. I don't know if anyone else has been paying attention over the last, 6 or 8 hours. But I did my last 45 minutes of hitting up all the news while I was sleeping, and I think our assessments have been correct all along.
I know, it's scary, huh?
Uh-huh. Do you see what they're doing? I mean, the witch hunt is on now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all balls out. Let's get out the burning torches.
Yeah.
And we're going to get ready to find us some witches. More witches! It was Monty Python. Hold on, let me turn my heat on.
Okay.
We woke up to sprinkly, Christmas-like snow, but at least it wasn't -8 this morning.
Yeah, what's the temperature there? I was going to ask.
I had to reboot my machine when they cut our power yesterday, and it came back with no time, no temperature, no CPU usage, no date, and no stock ticker. So... hold on. I'll find out. I gotta go to my cell phone.
Well, if it's snowing, though, doesn't it have to be a little warmer to snow? No, I guess it wouldn't.
No. 26 degrees and light snow.
Wow, it must be like summer for you.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'll tell you, when it was -3 the other evening and it was snowing like a bitch out there, it was coming down with like those little ice crystals.
Oh, those are pretty if there's a moon out.
Yeah, but those are definitely not what you want to drive in. That's the stuff that's like those little ice pebbles that you slide all over.
Yeah, real slick.
So, all right. Let's back the truck up and take a look at, let's see, it's only the 16th, so I think it was the 5th. Hold on one second. We're going to do, because I was really surprised. I thought actually this happened. I didn't need it right now. I thought this happened the end of last year, but I think it actually happened the beginning of this year. Let's do a search. I've been distracted now. All right, Ottawa terror probe. I thought that happened at the end of last year, but I saw it yesterday. It was like January 5th.
Mm-hmm.
while everyone was still sleeping. Didn't we just get back? Wasn't New Year's Eve like a Thursday? It's a Friday, Saturday,
Right.
Sunday.
We
So it
had
was like the
Sunday, Monday.
4th or the 5th.
Yep.
So two Ottawa brothers. Of course, they were brothers again. Aren't they always brothers?
Yeah, you know.
Sarnoff brothers, and then the two
Yeah.
guys in France. Weren't they brothers?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the brothers.
Keep it in
God,
the family.
look out for, you know what? Maybe that's why China only allowed one child.
Yeah.
Cuts
They
down
have
on
a-
terrorism. And now I played a clip yesterday. China is now allowing 1 million couples to have a second child if they file an application.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So they'll be able
Well,
to
at
keep
least they won't
track
be
of.
coming for ours, women.
Well, it's
Maybe.
true. And at least they will be now keeping track of who has two children who could potentially become terrorists
Terrorists.
as they plot amongst themselves. Sorry, we had the Ottawa terror, and then we had the Sydney siege. Now, when was that? See, now that I thought was the new year, but now I'm thinking maybe that was the end of last year.
Yeah, I think
December. Wow,
was
I
the
thought
end.
Ottawa was first, but it wasn't. The Sydney siege was first,
Yep.
is what it appears. So that was December 16th, the Sydney siege. Yes. Oh, was it two brothers again? I don't know. Hold on. It was a coffee shop, so everyone who goes to Starbucks be in fear.
Yep, you'll be a terrorist.
Well, no, you might be attacked by a terrorist drinking
Oh.
your GMO latte.
That's true, too.
Okay, we have two hostages. Those are the victims. How about where's the what do we know? Oh, let's see about the motive. This is the motive from Sydney during the siege. Abbott said the hostage taker, quote, sought to cloak his actions with the symbolism of the ISIS death cult.
Oh, God.
Come on. I have to tell you, yesterday I was at the point of no return where, I mean, this is like an episode of Groundhog Day just repeating every day. And I get to the point sometimes where I just can't deal with it anymore. Because anyone who is so fucking stupid to fall for this over and over and over again, standing there going, oh my God, keep me safe. Please roll in the fucking tanks and kill these radicals and take our children because they've been radicalized on the internet. And please take away the internet because it's making all the bad people. That's what's coming next. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
And there are people stupid enough out there to believe it. How are you going to battle that? And you know, like we heard from that KGB agent, that with this mind conditioning, you can put the facts right in front of their faces, and they will not see it. They will not look at it. They will not digest it. There is no way that you can get the truth into their minds until the day the tanks are rolling in, until their kid's been arrested.
Just by your own experience, you know that's true. Showing someone all the evidence in the world and they still don't
against
see
Obama. When Obama was running, my father jumping up and down, there's something wrong with this dude. There's something wrong with this dude. Don't vote for him, Jules. There's something wrong with this dude. And I'm like, come on. You're being racist, right? Isn't that what they put into our heads to tell anyone who is against Obama? You're being racist.
Yep.
Until I saw with my own two eyes the birth certificate that the White House posted on the White House website. And then I opened it in Photoshop. And you know, said, why the fuck are there 8 layers and the mother's signature's cut in half? And half of the mother's signature looks like it was written on paper in a photograph, but the other half is so clean and crispy that it's digital. Huh. How interesting.
You know, that's when they knew they had all of us, because nobody did nothing.
Nope. No. And look at the bastards in now for a second term. I bet that freaking hacked, layered birth certificate is still sitting on the website.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The last time I went and downloaded it was. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they left that piece of evidence right in front of your faces. And you know what my sister said to me? Oh, Jewel, that's because they probably scanned it in on a Xerox scanner. And that scans it in layers. You know what? I've been doing technology. My sister writes, okay. I've been doing technology for 25 years from the very beginning. I've seen those Xerox scanners. I've seen the document. I've been doing graphics for many, many years with Photoshop. When I open that and you see that the signature is cut perfectly in half at a diagonal from the first to the last name, and you can see clearly if you've done anything with digital images, especially like doing trade show booths like I used to at 10 and 20 feet long in super fucking high res, you would see that half that signature is a photograph of somebody who signed with pen and ink, because you can see all of the
little feathers.
Well, right, where it bleeds in the paper. Mm-hmm. But the other half of the signature is crisp and clean at 1,000% zoom. Well, the only way to get that is that it's digital.
Yes.
It was never signed on a piece of paper. So I don't care if Xerox scanners scan in layers or whatever, which ended up being the official explanation that she spewed at me without ever putting her thinking cap on. But what I saw with my own two eyes is that it's a load of fucking bullshit. And then what? Oh, the woman who authorized the birth certificate and let the guy in, who then left the Hawaiian Department of whatever it was, vital statistics. Once he got out of the state, he's like, no, it wasn't real.
I know.
Well, the woman out there, whoa, there was a plane crash with a little Piper plane, and out of like the 12 people on the plane, she's the only one who died. Whoops! Just like Nana, just like Nana died when he went over there to see Nana, who knew the whole story. Since she was the only one left in the family, the father is dead. Yep. Either father is dead, whether the real one or the fake one. The mother is dead. The families in Kenya, remember, they put up a sign, President Barack Obama was born here.
Yeah.
But the hospital in Hawaii didn't. But right before the inauguration, he goes to Hawaii to give Nana a big kiss, and whoops, Nana dies.
What a
I mean, come on. When I look at this, and then I just look at where the last, how long has it been now? We got 2 fucking nightmare years left. So 10, 8, 6. 6 years. Feels like 10. 6 years with this bastard stripping this country to the bare bones, and now they're getting ready to kick the bones and make them into a big pile of fucking carrion for the vultures to pick whatever's left.
Yeah. That's a very good description.
Thank you. That's what I see in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I was having dreams about it last night, to be honest. Put me to bed for 12 hours in a comfy, warm bed with a kitty and a kid all snuggled up next to me where I'm safe, and I'm dreaming about fucking future nightmares.
Yeah.
So, all right. I got off. I just had to say that because I'm telling you, anyone who hasn't seen that birth certificate and anyone who has access to some sort of layering program such as Adobe Photoshop or what's the other Adobe?
Print Shop Pro.
I don't know if that does layering, but
yeah, it does. I use it a lot.
There's another Adobe app in that same creative suite that does layering. Oh, I can't think of it right now. It's harder. It's the one that you do for layout for when you're doing print for like folders or business cards or whatever, where Photoshop is image creation. The other one's for layout. But that one's got layers as well. Mm-hmm. Open it. Go get it and open it. Because what they should have done was lock the layers. If the person who had forged that birth certificate had known how to use the application properly, all they would have had to do was hit... make one layer.
Right.
All just, and now it's not editable anymore. Or, hey, print it out and then make a photocopy of it.
Yes,
and then put it on the web.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't believe anyone's that stupid. I think that they did it on purpose just to see how gullible and to prove that they can do anything.
I think you're right. I think that was the litmus test to see if they could go forward with their plan. And because the fact that nobody, except for that crazy fucking lawyer, That woman, the blonde woman that was taking him to court every week.
Yeah.
What was her name? Somebody in chat. Oh, shit, I don't remember her name. Carly Coley. The crazy attorney with the blonde hair. That
the
was
blonde attorney. Like,
she was suing him every week just about.
Yeah.
And it was Carly. Carly something. I don't know. And
she spoke with a Russian accent. I think she was originally from Russia.
I'll tell you what. She had a lot of good points, except that she was batshit crazy. Or at least came off as batshit crazy.
But a lot of what she brought forward was true.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely. Absolutely. But they painted her
as crazy.
The Descent as crazy. And look, it just got, because then they were able to discredit the whole thing, sweep it under the rug, and then nobody cared anymore. We just
call them names, say they're tinfoil hats, say they're crazy, and everybody
say they're terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Look it's the same game plan happening again. I gotta what?
Replay.
Yeah, over and over. The names and the faces have changed, but the story is still the same, and it is. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. Over and over and over again. I mean, isn't that... Oh, Orly. Thank you. Orly Tates. I was calling her Corley. Orly Tates, thank you very much. Anon, 1902. Agent, 1902. Yes, she was a Russian-Israeli dentist, real estate agent, attorney. Thank you.
Yep.
And that is what she was.
I liked her, though, when I
did, too.
She brought out the truth.
She absolutely did, except that they totally painted her as batshit crazy. Mm-hmm. And you know what? By the end, she was so frustrated over everything. I mean, listen to me now. If you'd never listened to me before today, and you listen to the first 18 minutes of the show, you'd be like, man, that chick is batshit crazy. Yep. You know why? It's because I've been dealing with this shit for 4 years, and I'm at a point where I just can't fucking take it anymore. It's the same shit every day, and they're getting away with all of it. All of it. I'm disgusted. I'm aggravated. I'm pissed off. And I can't believe that the majority of the populace, and now, hey, tanks are getting a roll across Europe, too. This France thing, this was just step one. And wait until you see the headlines from this morning. By the way, are you still there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, by the way, the posts are still rolling in, but it looks like Pigmine was busy last night. We are at 96 new entries since probably early on. I don't know. I crashed early. And probably around, well, I don't know. He goes all night sometimes, so I'm thinking it went all night at 96 news stories. But I'm telling you, it's crazy shit. I only made it through like the first 30 this morning, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So
looking at the titles was enough for me.
Yeah, well, I didn't even get to watch them. We're going to watch them together. No, my computer upstairs, all of a sudden, my new notebook that all of a sudden had all these technical issues now has no sound for some reason.
Sound just went away?
That's a new one, yes. Sound just went away. It sounds like this. That's all there is. Anytime I hit the UCY player or a YouTube video, it goes. So, I don't know. I might have to do a factory reset. I don't know.
Jeez.
I mean, when was the last time you had to screw around with drivers on a new machine?
I know. I mean, that was a thing of the past, you'd think.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, all these old machines have pretty much bit the dust. So that machine, I've had that notebook for a few years, but it wasn't used for anything. It was used for when JJ would go out on patrol. He'd go to his different events.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it had stayed in a bag from the first Freedom Palooza to the second Freedom Palooza that he went to. And I had a big, UCY label on the front. That's all it was used for. But then my other notebook wouldn't stay powered on anymore. That big, beefy one that I used all those years for work with all the memory and the extra hard drive. So that just randomly shuts down now for no reason. And it's not heat either, because it doesn't even get hot and it shuts down.
That's what mine was doing right before the motherboard went out.
And you know what? I'm trying to think. I don't think that one ever lost a motherboard. That one did lose a fan once. we had the Dell service on it, because it was a work machine. So they'd actually like show up here. But yeah, we lost a motherboard on a desktop once. But yeah, they were out here like the next day, bang, brand new board, and it was good. But yeah, so that one stopped powering up and staying on for any usable time. So I started using that other notebook, and though it wasn't as beefy and it had a lot less memory and it was slower, even being new. But it was it was a cheapie. It was like a $300 or $400 notebook. That other one was, I had work by it. Yeah, well, it was brand new, top of the line engineering, right? And then we loaded it with everything. We got the second drive and all the memory and the huge freaking graphics card and whatever. And that thing's lasted 10 years, still usable.
That's good.
But yeah, I didn't have to pay for it. And then when I left, I offered them a couple $100 for it, and they said, sure, you know what, it's way out of, it was already written off 4 years ago,
Yeah.
So they were just going to chuck it. So I think they were happy. But long story short, so this new notebook that I've been using that was perfectly unpolluted with me doing anything for the network except like being remote, but not connecting to the website or not doing Facebook or not touching any of these news sites that, we get news from or whatever, that notebook was fine until I started doing them. It got pinged. Funny. Yeah, it got pinged. It's like, oh, look, here's another terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure we get that flash spyware on it.
Well, that's one good thing. At least I don't have the spyware on there yet. Well, yeah, I have Skype on it. So it's already infected with it.
Yeah, Skype is... Hal spent some time last week or the week before talking about Jitsi, and he and Griminard both talked to me about that before. I think we should check out Jitsi. I know it was out there at one point, but it was just like trying to... The whole infrastructure for dialing in, I'd have to... all kinds of beta testing, and that's just something that I haven't had time for. But I'm almost thinking, the last 2 days, I've just stopped, well, even longer than that, probably the last month, but it's been a progression. But the last 2 days, I've just stopped doing everything for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
What time they do?
Nothing for nobody. Double negative. But I can't. I need, I got to do something for me and something for my kid. So I did nothing for nobody. And it felt really good because guess what? I got half my day back.
All right.
I did. And guess what? I wasn't sleeping with my teeth clenched all night, so I woke up and didn't feel like someone had been pounding me in the head with a hammer while I slept all night.
Right. Well, I told you, people should start taking responsibility for their own shows.
Well, oh, hey, someone shared my Europe's leading rabbi, Jews must begin carrying guns. That's nice. Well, they take responsibility for their shows. It's the whole back end. And it's, all the writing to try and support the network. That's the only way I'm able to support it is by writing stories. Well, you know what? I tried to do one every day of the month last month, and it was great. Yeah, I made enough to pay for Skype. But guess what? I was totally fried. Do you ever try writing a story a day for an entire month after doing a show a day every morning and then after cutting shows every night until dinner and then napping for 2 hours and coming out and working until 3 in the morning, cutting more shows and getting ready for the next morning show?
You are Looney Tunes.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
It is impossible. You can't run
I try.
Have a family. You can't do it.
And hit a family, and run a network, and do a 5-day-a-week show. It doesn't work. I tried. I really did. I gave it everything, and you know what? It wiped me out. And then I got sick.
Then you got sick.
Yep. So, and now I am finally, can you hear my voice is back, recovering, because I've actually managed to get a whole bunch of nights at 12 hours of sleep, and it feels good. My brain's working again.
Uh-oh.
I feel good. Now I gotta get some physical exercise. No more sitting in this chair for 12 hours. That's the next thing. Yeah,
I set an alarm and make myself get up and go do things. Otherwise, I could just end up sitting here all day.
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Not good at all.
Sitting in a chair will kill you worse than anything else.
Mm-hmm. It stops your circulation, your blood flow. It's not good.
All right. So now that we've gotten,
yeah, I said okay.
Now that we've gotten all nicey, let's get mean again.
Okay.
I want to go through these stories. All right, we started. So we had the Sydney siege first. Sorry, my terror attacks were out of order. Then we had, I swear to God, Ottawa was before Sydney. Hold the phone. Ottawa. Because the New York City thing had happened right before that. Don't you remember? We had the machete attack in New York.
That's right.
There was the machete attack, and then right on the tails of that came the Ottawa attack, and then I thought the Sydney thing came. Ottawa terror. Woo! All right, Ottawa terror attack. Ottawa crime. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ottawa terrorists killed soldier in cold blood. Now, this is October. That was no October. Was that October?
No way. I thought it was December.
Me too. This is CNN. First, a soldier guarding a hallowed war memorial was gunned down in Canada's capital. Yep. Then shots erupted in the halls of the country's parliament minutes later. That is dated October 31st, 2014. How is that possible? Hold on here now. Big Brother messing with the dates. Hold on, we got to see the machete attack in New York City because that happened right before. See how these all bleed together? We're not supposed to remember the details, is what it is.
Right.
We have trauma. Remember what happens with trauma? Trauma-based mind control. We forget things. Just like we all forgot about the big hurricane coming into New York City the day before 9/11. Yeah. Tell you what, I've talked about that. I would have remembered it. My sister's there. But guess what? I didn't. I would have been freaking out that there was a Category 5 hurricane coming into New York City. But guess what? All those years, I didn't remember that it ever was coming. How is that possible?
Wow.
Well, it's possible because 9/11 sent me into a rocking ball in a corner.
You and the rest of the country, yeah.
Now, I see there was a machete attack in June, but that is not the one. Machete attack, New York City police. This was the first police attack.
Wasn't that in the summer? I thought that wasn't summertime.
No, there was another one in the summer here, October 19th. So I guess it was October 31st. Yeah, the machete attack happened right before the Ottawa attack. So there you go. October 19th was the machete attack in New York. October 31st was the terror attack in Ottawa. Sydney Cafe was December 16th. So October 16th, October 31st, December 16th.
1 a month.
So I bet you there was something in November that we totally missed. What was I just looking at? That was November 30th. That was Netanyahu warning France that if they don't vote against Palestinian recognition, that there would be quote unquote grave consequences.
I remember that
one. Hold on, I reposted that last night just because I thought it was important for people to remember that. Here, Palestinian state recognition will be a grave, quote unquote, grave mistake, Netanyahu warns France. Let's read this because it's very interesting what's happened. So that was actually November 23rd that came out. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, or Bibi, as he's affectionately known. I always put in two B's, but I guess this one has warned it would be a, quote, grave mistake, unquote, for the French Parliament to follow the suit of several other European nations. I wonder who they were. In recognizing a Palestinian state in the vote scheduled for early December. recognition of a Palestinian state by France would be a grave mistake, Netanyahu told reporters in Jerusalem. Do they have nothing better to do at a time of beheadings across the Middle East, including that of a French citizen, apparently referring to Hervé Gordel, executed by Algerian jihadists in September? Oh, I missed that one. The state of Israel, quote unquote, is the homeland of the Jewish people and the only state that we have. And the Palestinians demanding a state do not want to recognize the right to have a state for the Jewish people, Netanyahu added. Just hours before the statement, the Israeli government approved a controversial Jewish state bill, which the critics already called anti-democratic. If approved by the parliament, it will redefine Israel as the, quote, national homeland of the Jewish people, unquote, instead of a, quote, Jewish and democratic state, unquote. Ha! So, hold on. Isn't there a large Jewish population in France?
Yeah.
And didn't out of all of these attacks, somehow, and you missed it yesterday, but somehow I was making this whole thing, this flip-de-doo that happened, where first it was we had Islamists attacking satirists who were making fun of Mohammed by putting his picture on the cover, which, like I said, is like poking a lion who's hungry with the door open with a stick. But all of a sudden, stories came out from some, and here we posted it, from some rabbi stating that all Jews in Europe are now under attack and they must begin carrying guns to protect themselves. I'm like, wait, when did this become about the Jews?
Yeah.
When? This was about putting a picture of Mohammed on the front of a satire magazine, and all the leaders had just been there tra-la-lying arm in arm, defending free speech. When did it become about the Jews? And what was even funnier than that was that nasty-ass, pointed eyebrow, suspicious-looking Netanyahu was in the front row.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And nobody wanted to be next to him.
Well, what's her name?
Oh, go ahead.
From Germany. Wasn't she next to him?
No, she wasn't. She was down a few. Merkel.
Oh.
Someone had actually sent a video clip. I had it up on my notebook upstairs that I watched yesterday afternoon. They dropped it in chat of Netanyahu, like, while he was getting ready for this, and he's standing in a crowd, and I didn't have any sound, obviously, because that notebook doesn't have sound, but just the expressions on his face were priceless. He looks so jumpy and so just suspicious. I was like, who could trust that man? And just constantly looking over his shoulder and up and down and fixing his hair and then looking around. I was like, wow. His body language could tell volumes.
Wow.
Yeah, by the way, I think I mentioned this the other day. There was this New York Times test. You know what, guys? Hold on. I still want you to be listening to the show, but I will drop you this test if anyone's interested. There was a test in the New York Times that had videos of, thank you, Mr. Drew Lamb. Drew and Hammy have posted a couple really awesome stories on my WTF page over the last few days. But the story in the New York Times, it had 6 or 8 videos, and they were of different people sitting in a room, and they would ask them a question, and then they had to give an answer, and you had to watch the video and then determine whether or not they were lying.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, actually there were 10 of them, and I managed to get 9 out of 10 right. But it's all in the body language. Yes. So here, I'm going to drop this in chat because this is a good test for everybody. You know, this is how they pull the bullshit over on you. Mm-hmm. There we go. Everybody's got to tell. Everybody's got to tell. All right. So let's go back now that I lost my train of thought. So I was talking about Bibi and his suspicious-looking character and how all of a sudden this story that happened to be about free speech somehow turned around to be about the Jews. But I had seen a joke somewhere along the way of somebody posting of fake comments by Netanyahu saying, oh, French Jews all come to the homeland. Well, just reading this article from November about how they just redefined Israel as the national homeland of Jewish people. What is that about?
No kidding.
I mean, is he going to get like extra U.S. tax dollars for bringing all the Jewish people home?
Probably.
Is that what happens? Are they going to give him like better iron domes?
Yeah.
If they're all there, and a couple extra $1 trillion, maybe a few more in the NYPD Israeli division?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lie either. If you guys didn't know that, they really do have a division of the NYPD in Israel.
In Israel, right. That blew my mind.
My husband couldn't believe it. He thought I was kidding. I'm like, I'm not kidding. We read the story. There really is. And guess what? It's financed by the taxpayers. And hey, guess what? It's probably financed by me and JJ and all of us who live in New York State.
Probably.
Bastards. I just saw, too, the NYPD was just getting some massive amount of something that was like another 46. Oh, body armor. Hold on. Well, I don't want to.
Body armor now?
Yeah, body armor. This is how they were trying to get over this whole Blasio bullshit. They're going to, de Blasio offers olive branches to NYPD with support for new body armor for all the New York cops. So we're just going to give them body armor, riot helmets, what do you call it?
So even if you do shoot at them, in defense, it won't help you.
$7.3 million for new vests. Hey, I'm so glad I'm fucking paying for it. I mean, it's disgusting. I can't even get over how fast this is happening worldwide. And I mean, guys, it is balls out now. I mean, every single story right now. Every single one. All right, so here we go. So we get beyond. So Nettie, we should call him Nettie. Nettie's better than Bibby. Nettie. Mm-hmm. It's more affectionate. More feminine.
More feminine. Nettie. I was just going to say.
So Nettie warned France, either put up or shut up, or you're going to have grave consequences. So we have this terror attack that was about Mohammed, but somehow turned into Jews. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they put a second Mohammed on the cover a day. Well, it must have been the next week's issue, but it was really, a couple days later. And I see a story. Now, the last couple days, I've come out and said, how fucking stupid are you people? I'm all about free speech, as you can tell. Okay? I run a radio network that's about free speech. I mean, hey, I don't, you got to be careful about what you say just because there are people who are listening who don't have our best interest in mind and want to find some way to kick your door down. But on the other hand, hey, I'm a wordsmith, man. I got my degree in English. That's what I do. So you could say shit without saying it. Okay? Be smart about it. That's what I said about satirists. Satirists come out and think that they are so fucking smart because they can write satire. Well, you know what? Putting Mohammed on the cover, personally, to me, is not satire. That is something that, per their religious edict, you can't put an image of their Allah or whoever he is. You know what I mean? So by doing that, that isn't considered comedy to me. That's considered poking a stick, right?
Yep, twisting the screw in.
Right, to see what's going to happen. And what I was reading, too, is that this is not the first time they've done that, and this is not the first time they've been attacked for doing it. I bet you didn't hear that one, did you? Yeah, hold on. Here's the article. That was coffee.
I mean, I could tell.
Honestly, have you been attacked before and you know what kind of response you're going to get? And then you do it again and then you're like, oh, fuck, 12 people died. Well, yeah, I sure hope you feel bad. Yeah. I really sure hope you feel bad that you're responsible for those 12 fucking people dying. So the one guy who's left, who overslept because it was his birthday, they let him now do the editorial cover for the next issue that was just released yesterday. And, what do? They put Mohammed on it again. Really? I mean, I couldn't even believe that they were that. And again, that proves to me that my impression, and that isn't even a faraway impression, it's up close and personal with satire writers for nationwide magazines in the family. I know them well. They're snarky, and they think that they're just so fucking funny and smart. You know what? They're not. And I don't find humor in half the shit they write. I really don't.
No.
I find them highly annoying the way they come off and pretend like I'm so fucking educated. I think it's funny and you don't even get it. No, you think it's funny, but it's really not.
Really not funny.
And that is not satire.
No.
So, the story comes out yesterday after I got off air, and it said pretty much what I just said. And it was the founder of the Charlie Hebdo magazine, who's now like in his 80s. Charlie Hebdo founder says murdered editor, quote, overdid, unquote, provocative cartoons.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess I'm not crazy and against free speech after all. Because my one friend, who I don't agree with on anything, railed me big fucking time, saying what an asshole I was, because then I wasn't for free speech. I was for the Muslims, by saying that it was pretty much inappropriate what he put on the cover. Because we were poking a fucking lion. That, you know what? We don't need to poke that lion.
No.
I mean, granted, if they put Jesus on the cover with like a party hat and a doobie in his mouth and whatever, they probably aren't going to have mosques blown up.
Right.
And I don't agree with the violence. But on the other hand, that's still pretty offensive to devout Christians, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's not in a funny way either.
No, and that's not in a funny way. It's in an offensive way. Meant to be offensive. So how is that satire? You know, it's not the free speech that's at issue. It's the definition of satire that's at issue. Hurting people's feelings is not funny.
Mm-mm.
I don't find amusement when someone says nasty shit to me and then I get in chat JK for just kidding. No, you weren't fucking just kidding. You know, when you say shit like that, you really mean it. But then you use the guise of humor to hide it. And you know what? That's a way of being dishonest and fucking lying and being a mean motherfucker and then getting away with it. And I have way too many friends like that, and I won't tolerate that shit. You know what? I've actually, in 2015, that was one of my things on my list that I was drawing the fucking line. People who can be mean to me and pull shit on me and then play it under the guise of being funny. Fuck you.
Right. No, whenever you
hurt someone,
it's not funny. I don't care
what.
It
isn't. And I don't do that shit to other people, and I don't expect it to be done to me. And it's not humor. You come at me and that's the excuse all the time. Ha ha, I was just kidding. You're too sensitive. No, I'm not. Do I sound sensitive? You obviously don't listen to my show. Do you hear me whimpering under a table? No. I don't know, Zorie. Do I sound sensitive?
No.
Okay, then. So,
But you know what? Even if you're not sensitive, it's still, you can get your feelings hurt.
Like that's mean. Especially when it's a friend who says nasty shit like that. I mean, it's like the alcoholic family member who says shit to you when they're drunk and then pretends they don't remember it the next day. But you know what? When that shit comes out when you're drunk, I know me. Don't get me on the air. Do not get me on the air when I'm drinking, because I at least have filters when I'm not drinking. But when I am drinking, I have no filters. So what I feel, what I believe comes out without editing. So if I get a problem with you, you're going to know about it, period. And you're going to know all the details. And I'm not going to say JK for just kidding. You know, but that shit that comes out, that's like truth serum. And you can say that you were kidding or you were drinking or whatever, but you know what? There was some truth in what you said. Otherwise, you would have never, ever have been thinking it.
Yeah, I don't take drinking as an excuse for anything that you do. Like, it's cruel and stuff. No.
Trust me, I've had a lot of life experience at that.
Yeah, with your grandma having a bar.
Well, yeah, exactly. The whole family shit. And so, you know what? I become entire adult life, one of the things, and I know some of my friends who, the same ones who try to pass off things as humor, hate it and say, don't psychoanalyze me, Jewel. Because you know what? That's one of my weapons. And being able to watch videos like that and get 9 out of 10 of the fuckers who are lying, yep. Because guess what? I'm really good at it. Because I told you guys, when I was a kid, I was such a shifty little shit. And when you're good at it, and see, I choose not to be. I walk that fine line between light and dark and right and wrong. And I know which side's the right side to be on. My secret weapon is the other side, but I rarely ever go there. Because you know what? It brings you down. I'll tell you what, you walk over that other side of the line often, and you're going to find that your life doesn't quite go the way that you ever wanted it to. And nothing is ever going to go quite the way you wanted it to. And you want to know why? Because karma is a bitch.
And you're going to find yourself alone.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to find. And karma is a bitch. I'm telling you, for anyone who doesn't believe, I have played that experiment over and over and over again in my life, tempting to see what would happen. And karma is a bitch. You play the other side. You play the non-aggression principle. You let people play all their nasty fucking games and just walk away quietly with no revenge ever. And oh, lo and behold, guess what? They're all out of business.
Yeah.
Their lives are all miserable and fell apart. And you never did anything to them. And it all came back to them. So I'm telling you, karma is a bitch. So we got off track here. I'm going back to this Charlie Hebdo, though, and satire and being mean and offensive under the category of just kidding, because that doesn't fly. So even the founder of Charlie Hebdo has condemned the murdered editor Stephanie Charbonnier of, quote, dragging the team, unquote, to their deaths by overdoing the satirical magazine's provocative cartoons. Can you believe that? Wow. The founder, Henry Rossell, 80, who participated in 1970 in the creation of the first issue of Charlie Hebdo, then called Harry Carey Hebdo, addressed Charbonnier posthumously with the words, quote, I really hold it against you, unquote, in a column in the left-wing magazine Nouvelle Obs, or Obs, probably new obituaries, I don't know, Nouvelle Obs. Roussel, who writes under the pen name Delphine Deton, said that Charbonnier was a, quote, amazing lad, unquote, but also an obstinate, quote, blockhead, unquote. Oh. Yes, that is exactly how I could also define family members who write for the U.S. magazine. Blockheads. Because they're so fucking smart and they don't listen to anything you say because, hey, they're so fucking smart and they write satire.
They know it all.
Yes, they do. Quote, what made him feel the need to drag the team into overdoing it, he asked, referring to the Muhammad cartoons. The cover of the magazine in 2011 showed a drawing of the Prophet Muhammad along with the words 100 lashes of the whip if you do not die laughing under a banner saying Sharia Hebo. Shortly afterwards, this is in 2011 when they put Muhammad on there, shortly afterward the magazine's office was firebombed by unidentified arsonists. Now, mind you, right after this attack in 2015 at Charlie Hebdo, there was an arson attack at one of the Germans' magazines, by the way. I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't.
That didn't get a lot of play, but I did post a video, so if I can find it, we'll hit that one. Because we're doing a connect the dots of terror attacks that are leading us up to today.
Okay.
Yeah, so shortly afterward, the magazine's office was firebombed by an unidentified arsonist. Quote, I believe that we are fools who took an unnecessary risk, Roussel wrote. That is, We think we are invulnerable for years, decades even. It was a provocation. And then one day the provocation turns against us. Unquote. And hey, isn't that exactly what I've been saying? It's poking the fucking hungry lion with the open door with a stick. You were provoking
You're gonna get bit
to attack. Cherub did it again a year later in September 2012, Rousseau added, using Charbonnier's nickname. Quote, I have refused to speak on TV and radio to everyone. I kept my messages for OBS, and I am not prepared to open this subject again, he said. So I guess they did it again in 2012. Rousseau's column in Nouvelle Obs triggered outrage from Richard Malka, Charlie Hebdo's lawyer for the past 2 decades. Malka wrote to one of the owners of Nouvelle Obs and Le Monde, Cherub has not even been buried, and Obs finds nothing better to do than to publish a venomous piece on him. The other day, the editor of Nouvelle Obs couldn't shed enough tears to say he would continue to fight. I don't know what he meant in this way. I refuse to allow myself to be invaded by bad thoughts, and my disappointment is immense. Well, but he's speaking the truth. I mean, there is a line for free speech. And you can be free speech all you want. I mean, if you wanted to stand outside and bad name Mohammed with posters all over the place, and someone comes with a samurai sword in the name of Allah and cuts your head off, hey, that was your fucking problem. That was your bad fucking choice for free speech, okay?
There you go.
But to do it from a corporate perspective and to make an entire newsroom targets then to be attacked and killed, and especially when you've done it 2 or 3 times in a row and you've survived, I really would have to call that tempting fate and probably a bad choice.
Yeah, very bad choice.
So, I don't know. I mean, I am not against free speech in any way, shape, or form. I just think that you need to use some intelligence. And there was obviously not some intelligence being used here.
Right.
Why didn't they make... I mean, they could have done something funny with like a turban and Allah, or who it is, Muhammad, as invisible. Make it invisible, Muhammad. So there was no Muhammad, but it was like the outline of Muhammad, just invisible.
There were a lot of things they could have done, but...
Like I said, you could say it without quite saying it, if you were smart. Which is my whole take on satirists, how they come off with this haughty-taughty, I'm so fucking smart because I write satire, but obviously they're not. They would have used better judgment.
You would think.
All right, so I don't know. We can go through this whole fight between the two, but I'm just saying that even the original creator of Hebdo is saying this was out of line.
Yeah, that's something.
It was out of line. So it made me feel pretty justified in feeling that way, because at first I was like, oh, man, you know... that maybe I should have been for it. Look at all those world leaders. But I was like, no. You know what? Don't fucking...
Follow the lead.
No, don't. Think for yourself. Because guess what? You're usually always right.
Yep. And because we're not, that's why we're where we're at.
Well, they're trying to paint their story and push it down our throats so we just recite whatever they've told us to parrot. Just like all the news agencies.
Yep.
But, you know, that's what the fluoride's for.
And it's working.
It is working. All right, so let me scroll down here. So, yesterday we had talked then in some of the aftermath of this. I don't know if you caught this one, Zorie, but there was then the French comic, who is now facing 7 years in prison for knocking that out, and they said it was hate speech. Yeah. So, hey... Problem, reaction, solution. Right. This march, days before, was about free speech. And just a few days later, a French comic is mocking it out with Je suis, and I don't even remember what the term was that he used. But then they arrested him for hate speech, and now he's facing 7 years in prison. And it was hate speech posted on Facebook.
I know.
It was a meme. A meme.
Yeah, it was.
And they also rounded up an additional, I think it was 54 people in France and arrested them as well for hate speech. Now, what the fuck is that? Just out of the blue? And don't think that's not coming here, by the way, because wait till you see what's going on. Cameron's all over this like a freaking dog in heat. Him and Barry. Barry had announced the new cyber protection. They're having that big cyber protection summit here coming up in a few days. He's got now I reposted this one, too, because most people missed it the first time. February 18th, Obama's going to be hosting now a radical terrorism summit here in the United States. Oh, you better believe 2015 is going to be balls out.
It is.
It is. And you know what? You better watch everything you say and everything you post and be smart about how you say it and how you post it.
Right.
They are coming.
And they are serious. They are seriously putting people behind bars.
Yes, they are. You know, what did they say? Hold on. I have it as the header of my Speaking Truth page, just so I would never forget. Because here's my thing. I'm a big mouth. If you haven't figured that one out. I've been a big mouth my whole life. I can't keep my mouth shut. Second grade, my teacher's like, well, Jules talks a lot. Yeah, but I think a lot, too. I've gotten better at it as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I just talked about anything. Anything. Anyone who talked to me, I talked to you about something. But when I got older, my eyes opened up. At least I talk about shit that I think matters. Yes, during times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. Yes, George Orwell, 1984, and could put you in jail.
For a long time.
Here's the even more ironic humor for putting this comedian to now with him facing 7 years. He was a comedian. Well, weren't the satirists who put the picture of Muhammad on the front cover comedians too? Weren't they just all standing arm in arm in fake solidarity?
Yep.
For the comedians that all died poking the lion? So this comedian who then mocks out the situation is now accused of hate speech, facing 7 years in prison. Wow. Isn't that the big flipperoo?
Well, who'd he piss off?
I don't know. He's been arrested a few times. It said, actually, here, let me make sure this is turned off. And oh, it is turned off. All right. I don't know, guys. I start when all these dots start connecting, and it does happen when I get some sleep. I told you I was dreaming about this shit all night, and they were going. Yeah. I woke up this morning like bouncing off of walls. Here we go. Add to call. Bink.
Starts with J.
Starts with J. Yeah, I remember that this morning. I got sleep, remember. All right, here. Hopefully this is a minute and a half or so I can go fill up my cold, chunky coffee. But this is titled French Comic Faces 7 Years in Prison for a Facebook Post. And don't think this isn't going to be us next, guys, because I'm telling you, it is. Precedent. And the fact that Barry, and you know, how interesting too, like when that solidarity thing happened, Barry didn't go, but criminal attorney general Eric Holder was there, and he was there not at the solidarity meeting, but he was there attending a extremism conference. Yeah. No, before the interview. He was at an emergency extremism conference in France, and then did morning interviews with like Good Morning America and shit after. This is about cracking down on everyone. The New World Order is going to steamroll through the EU, including Australia, and the United States this year, including Canada. Mm-hmm. Just watch. You watch and see. I see it coming. It is coming. That KGB Yuri had said it. That's the last part. The last part is the tanks rolling in. Crisis is the thing before them. We're there. This is crisis number 875. How many more do we need before they roll the tanks?
Not many.
And you know what? They figured, hey, those stupid Americans were too fat and dumb to get up off the couch. Because look there really have been no protests. We've just sat here and taken it. So let's poke the sleeping giant. Let's poke them and poke them and poke them and poke them. So now we created our own rise up. We've armed them. We've trained them. We've poked them. And now they're striking back, and we can make them pop up like whack-a-mole in any country we choose and use it as a reason to crack down.
Yep.
We got teenagers. We got bartenders. We got, school teachers. Who knows? All right, here. French comic faces 7 years in prison for Facebook post.
Bonjour la France. He's a popular French comic, like many comedians, undeterred in offending anyone he chooses.
Je m'appelle George W. Bush. Je suis le 43e président des États-Unis de l'Amérique.
French law bans anti-Semitism, incitement of racial hatred, and condoning terrorism. Bans Dieudonné has flouted for years.
Ça, c'est la loi.
Mais bien sûr, c'est la loi! C'est comme ça!
Quoi, il y a des mecs qui mettent ça?
C'est pour que les gens n'oublient pas!
Dieudonné has been convicted nearly a dozen times of inciting racial hatred or similar charges. Now he's charged not for his show or material, but for this Facebook post, after he attended the march condemning the Charlie Hebdo attacks. In the post, he called the march historic. But it's that last part that brought new charges of condoning terrorism. Know that tonight, he wrote, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like Charlie Koulibaly. A reference to both I Am Charlie and Ahmedi Koulibaly, who, after the Charlie Hebdo attack, killed 4 Jewish men and is suspected of killing a policewoman and shooting a jogger. He later deleted the post. There is a difference between freedom and anti-Semitism and racism, said the French Prime Minister in an address to Parliament. Defending terrorism, which is a crime, must be punished with force and strength. Since the Charlie Hebdo attack, 54 cases of condoning terrorism have been opened. In one case, a 22-year-old man posted a video mocking the dead policeman. In another, a young man was arrested for shouting, "Long live the Kalashnikov," at police. Dieudonné's lawyer told Sky News the post was, quote, completely innocent, and the comic feels like Koulibaly because he's being treated like a terrorist in his own country.
Gee.
Dieudonné has made news here before when NBA superstar Tony Parker, along with the comedian, was photographed making a Dieudonné-created gesture, the Canel. Many compare it to a Nazi salute. Parker apologized, saying he had no idea what the gesture meant. Dieudonné faces up to 7 years in prison for the Facebook post, a new test for the French national motto, liberty, equality, fraternity.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, just like in the United States, and he felt like a terrorist in his own country.
Mm-hmm.
People, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I feel really bad for this dude, actually. I wish somebody would give him asylum because that is just not right. So the fact that these satirists were justified in satirizing because they're so fucking funny, and this dude makes some sort of joke on Facebook and he faces 7 years in prison.
I know.
How is that fair? How is that following any fucking logic? And then out of this whole thing comes, we must arm all the Jews in Europe. What?
Yeah.
Yesterday I was equating this to 9/11 happening. And then I remember the day distinctly. I remember watching the news as George Bush comes out live saying that, yes, we're going after Saddam Hussein. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? How did you make that half-cocked fucking connection?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's on our side, remember?
Yeah. It was just, again, they're just using people who are traumatized to make whatever they fucking want.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. So, all right, we actually heard that clip yesterday. The kid then you saw about the kid arrested for a terror plot in D.C., and the father actually comes out and says he'd been having meetings with the FBI.
FBI, yeah.
Yep. So he was totally set up. But, hey, that doesn't matter because No one will pay attention to what the father says. Didn't the kids, the Sarnoff brothers, too, remember when that first happened? Every one of his family members in Russia came out and said, yes, for 2 years. The FBI and the CIA, I don't remember who it was, but one of our intelligence groups have been meeting with them for 2 fucking years.
It was the FBI, yeah.
Oh, right. And then, we had all those mysterious deaths of people involved in the case afterward.
Yeah, almost every plot it's so apparent to people who, pay attention because, they screw up. I don't know. Are they really that dumb to, getting the underwear bomber on the plane and getting them through with no passport. And
and then tying these newest terrorists to the underwear bomber.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a telltale sign that this is just the biggest load in your pants bullshit that you've ever seen, I don't know what else is.
I know.
We know for a fact, it was admitted that the underwear bomber was a plant. He was orchestrated. We know that. So the fact that these guys, the 2 that were responsible for the Hebdo attack, the Charlie Hebdo attack, the one guy happened to be the roommate of the underwear bomber? Come on.
Yeah.
That's like freaking satire. It's gotta be, but it's not. Nope, it's not. That's they're trying to pass that off as real ass shit.
Yeah. And people fall for it as real.
Yep.
Still.
Yep. But hey.
And I seen where they're prepping up the TSA again now.
Yep, TSA on high alert. You're going to be able to get freaking felt up for free.
They're going to get up close and personal again.
Bend over and cough. Yep, I am expecting that.
I'm not flying.
No, thanks. French authorities accused of double standards in hate speech crackdown, and this is in regards now to this French comedian. I sure hope that he gets exonerated because that is just ridiculous.
He's a comedian. They make fun. I don't know. You're not supposed to take comedians seriously.
Well, you're not. Now, here's something else I want to talk about. So, one of the things that I caught, and I don't think I shared that video, but I might have played it online or on air. Jake Tapper from CNN and whoever his sidekick was that day was standing out in front of the March of Solidarity in France. And he's just like going on. And he's like, me personally, I'm so disappointed. Not CNN, just me personally. I'm so disappointed that Obama didn't show up here. But it's such a beautiful thing. Everyone marching in solidarity, and it doesn't matter if you're Catholic or Jewish or Muslim or whatever. And he's going on and on and on. And look at how we can all be friends and be in solidarity. And, I brought this up yesterday. One of the things that they've been talking about doing for a long time as part of the whole New World Order was to get rid of religions. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
To be able to bring us all under one umbrella. And a lot of people have postulated that the one thing, and especially with von Braun's warning back years ago about don't let them weaponize space. And what's his name? Ronald Reagan made the comment when they were talking about bringing down the wall, would the world join as one if we had some outside invader?
Yeah.
Come down. Well, to me, this is almost seeming like they are really trying to do that now. Let's get us. we don't have any otherworldly invader, but we do have these radical terrorists everywhere. So let's all join hands and let's
fight them.
Get above religion. And you know what? That would be a great thing if it was possible, but there's an ultra agenda behind that. And what really proved that to me is, we've talked about I was going to call him Prince Francis. No,
Yeah,
Pope Francis. We've talked about Pope Francis, how he's just been so fucking different than any former pope, and
being out there and honest.
so against the former staunch Catholic establishment and speaking for, rights,
The people.
But I'm going to tell you what. I see an agenda. I see an agenda. Because this morning, I saw Ozzy Skateboard post something yesterday going off on Pope Francis. And then Pigmine posted a video this morning of the same statement that Ozzy was going off about. And it's titled, Pope Francis says that there are limits to freedom of speech. Now, let's think about this for a second, because that is not what I was saying before. I'm not saying that there's limits to free speech. I'm saying that if you're going to have free speech, there's smart ways to have free speech, and there's unsmart ways to have free speech. But you got to put on your thinking cap if you want to avoid problems. And not even before the police state. I mean, there are people that are ultra sensitive out there that, could definitely cause you issues if you say things. Like if you came outright and started saying, hack people's heads off, well, that's probably not going to go over too well with a large majority of people. But if you put it in a poetic way, you know what I mean? Like, all I'm saying is there are ways to say shit and ways not to say shit.
Right.
But Pope Francis now coming out using his popularity that he's gained over the last year or two by being the Pope of the people to come out and specifically say, and the church saying this, that there are limits to free speech. Now, the church is the biggest brainwasher of them all.
Yeah.
The church is the biggest hider of information of them all. And the biggest prosecutor historically of people who said things that were against doctrine. The witch trials, burnings, the beheadings, the crusades, the Spanish Inquisition. How much more do you need? So the Pope coming out and taking this opportunity to tell us that there are limits to free speech, I am going to say is suspect to me. Because he's come out as the Pope of the people, gotten people off guard, gotten people to go, oh, he's the Pope of the world. He's the Pope. He's the one that's trying to bring us all together. And I mean, honestly, he's very different than any other Pope. But remember, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Because there's probably still some agenda. I like the fact that he was a bouncer to pay for his education as a priest. Okay, that's cool. I appreciate that. I had to pay for my college education by working. That adds character.
It does.
And maybe there is no agenda. Maybe he's just going, hey, you know what? I mean, you guys kind of walked over the line by offending religion. Well, maybe. But on the other hand, to say that there are limits to free speech, does that not open it up now to all these governments to go, well, there are limits of free speech? I mean, Australia already has limits on free speech. It's called hate speech. And apparently, so does France already. In this country, don't we have the SPLC?
Yep.
Don't they attack anyone who talks about the Jews? Oh, it'll probably be UCY.TV is going to be on headline news. I know. And the lie was. And so is Freedom Palooza. For opening their mouths. So, all right, let's see what Pope Francis had to say right out of his two lips. Because I've just been reading about it. I want to hear it.
The leader of the Catholic Church says freedom of expression has limitations, especially when it comes to ridiculing a particular faith. Pope Francis said people cannot make a toy out of other religions. The pontiff made the comments after the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo reprinted cartoons mocking Islam's holy prophet.
So we didn't hear his voice. We didn't actually hear what he said. We heard Press TV's interpretation. But on the other hand, I don't know. I personally think that you might be able to abuse other religions. You just got to be careful about the way you do it, I don't know. I think that they could have mocked out Muhammad without showing Muhammad. Because the fact is, what was the sticking point? The sticking point is that Muslim religion does not allow images of Muhammad, correct? Zorie?
Oh, sorry, mute was on. Yes, you're right.
So, I think my idea was actually kind of funny. Put him in a robe, put him in his head
And
thing,
make him invisible.
and his robe, and he's invisible. And then who says who that is?
The emperor's got no clothes.
Clothes, right? Well, the emperor does have clothes. The clothes has no emperor.
Yeah, there you go.
But now you're not showing an image of him. He's the invisible man.
Right.
In his robe, and he could be whoever you want it to be. I think that would have been funnier and less offensive, because what are they going to yell about? You're not showing the image of Muhammad.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know if that's such a big deal what the Pope said. I can see his point just because, but I'm saying there shouldn't be limits. Just be smart in the way you do it. Right. It's all about being smart.
Well, once they say one thing, you can't say this, then it's going to be you can't say that, you can't say this. It doesn't have no end.
Yeah. It doesn't have any end. And, let's take a look now at what's come out of all this. So, what's come out of all this? Oh, I don't know. Let's page down. There was Cameron and Obama. Hold on. There were the arrests now in 2 raids in Germany. There was Belgium is now on high alert for terror threat. They took it from level 3 to level 4. We also, 2 reportedly killed in counterterrorism operation in Belgium. Let's see what else. We got body armor now in New York City. We have Obama hosting the Violent Extremism Conference, February 18, 2015. Cameron to lobby Obama for Facebook and Twitter help to monitor UK terror. How's that one?
Yeah.
Let's crack it all down. And wait, there was one way back here. Let's go back. We got to find it because Obama is also cracking down on cybersecurity. And as soon as they start cracking down on social media, especially for terror threats or hate speech, that's all going to fall under the guise of cybersecurity.
Sure is.
So we got France, we got England. Here, hold on.
And then they'll throw a few more people in prison to get the fear good and strong out there so nobody will say anything.
Well, we have, these teenager jihadis in the United States that are being, this has been going on for a while. They've been radicalized by the internet. NYPD on alert after re-release terror threat. Hell yeah. Al-Qaeda issues new threat to France. Cameron wants new internet spying powers. Yes. Hold on, I still gotta find the Obama cyber terror. Like, shit is coming so fast, I can't even believe it. I think that's why I had to sleep. Oh, German newspaper suffers arson attack. Yep, this is their version of the Charlie Hebdo in Germany.
Whoa.
Yeah, and you know what? Are they just trying to make a point that free speech isn't going to be tolerated? Is that what it is?
It sounds
You're going to
like
get firebombed? Here, Cyber Command's Twitter hacked. So right as Obama is having conversations, this was a few days ago, about cybersecurity. And, of course, we already found out. This was, last week or the beginning of this week? We already found out that Anonymous had tracked it back to Maryland. The headquarters of the NSA is in Maryland.
Yep.
Yes. Did my heat turn off? Oh. Wow. Where's my heat? Or am I out of electricity here? I don't know. It's not blowing out hot. It's blowing out lukewarm.
What, your heater?
Yeah, my little one that's next to my desk here. And I don't hear it on, though. Hold on. By the way, they were here and they brought the diggers in yesterday, turned our power off after the show, and replaced a section of cable. They had two. They had a front end loader and they had a whatever you call it, the digger.
The backhoe.
Yeah, the big backhoe. And they dug and they replaced the wire and they buried it, and nobody showed up here with anything to sign, with any type of bill, with anything. They didn't even ask us if they could dig or if we wanted to dig the hole, so I'm thinking that they're going to eat it. And it was right near the road.
That's probably why they didn't say anything. So you have your own power back?
Yeah, we're back. We're back on our own power.
Good.
Yeah, we were only down for about a half hour. But if anyone is having trouble trying to catch the stream on like Shoutcast or anything, which I wasn't, but if the stream ever goes down and you have trouble catching the stream on Shoutcast or TuneIn or any of those apps that pull from our main feed, it's because once your feed isn't feeding streaming, for like uninterrupted amount of time. Yeah, Shoutcast pulls you out of the directory until you're up again for like another 24 hours. So, but we were only down for like a half hour, and maybe not even, because the power wasn't, but the servers were, because I had everything fired up, but then I couldn't figure out it was all working here. But we were having issues with the automation server coming back up to stream, so whatever. It's up now. And the electrical's fixed, so that's awesome.
Good.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, do we keep digging into all this march toward fascism that's coming, or do we take a look at how on Sunday the first fracking company declared bankruptcy? And I think...
Did they?
Yeah, they did. And I think... Hammy might have posted something last night, which I took it and I posted it. There's now another company, 9,000 layoffs coming in Texas, another oil company. This one, WBH Energy LP, is a private Texas-based drilling group, became the first shale company to file for bankruptcy protection, saying their bank was no longer willing to advance the money. The company estimates its debt at between $10 to $50 million. So that was on Sunday. Now, remember, all this is going on with this economic pull the rug out from under us happening, and nobody's noticing, right?
Yeah.
So hold on. We're going to find the most recent one. So that was from Sunday. We had looked at the story about the Saudi prince coming out and saying that this whole thing is bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
OPEC wants to crush the U.S. shale. I read that one yesterday. Boom, 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 boom. Hold on, scroll. Oh, actually, someone in chat had asked me, I think it might have been Joe Friday, saying that what's going to be like a telltale sign. We were talking about my wiring, and I said, yeah, I think it was all aluminum out there. And he said, well, the thing to pay attention to is the price of copper. Because remember, a few years ago, people were stripping outside lines because copper was expensive. Well, guess what? I was like, hey, I just found a story about that yesterday afternoon. Is a global economic recession coming? The copper price says yes.
Oh, no.
Copper is tanking. The market for copper, a metal that 2 years ago was being stolen by thieves looking for big profits, is crashing, in the latest in a string of commodity nosedives that have experts worried about the broader implications for the global economy. The copper market crashed overnight to its lowest level since the middle of the financial crisis in 2008, fueling fears that the global economy is slowing more sharply than experts had anticipated. Wednesday's drop is the sixth consecutive decline in copper prices, currently trading around $5,560 a ton. The prices are causing significant pain to mining companies like Glencore, whose stock responded to the copper crash by hitting record lows. Like oil, copper has a deep effect on the world economy because it is key for phone lines, cables, and other infrastructure. It is also important to several world economies. The world's largest copper producers in order are Chile, China, Peru, U.S., and Australia. The copper market is just the latest commodity market to suffer from a kind of panic as oil prices have halved in just a few months. Copper is also at the center of a black market trade that has been shrinking from the level of $1 billion just a few years ago as an epidemic of copper theft swept the country, with thieves robbing warehouses and stripping telephone lines to resell the metal for a profit. The National Insurance Crime Bureau, which tracks metal theft, called the crime wave a threat to U.S. infrastructure. Claims for metal theft have since declined. The worry about the fall in copper is that the rout in crude oil prices could be spreading to other commodities, sparking concerns that the slowdown in the global economy might be much deeper than thought and not just limited to the energy market. China, with an economy that has grown relentlessly in recent years, is the world's largest user of copper, eating up 40% of the supply. China's imports of copper hit an all-time high in December, but China is slowing as well. Just Tuesday, the World Bank suggested that a, quote, disorderly slowdown in China would force it to reduce its forecast for global growth outside of the U.S. It said the slowdown in Chinese property and land sales will prevent the national and local governments from boosting growth by investing in infrastructure. The World Bank said that the world economy would grow by only 3% for 2015, down from earlier estimates. I am getting worried that this drop in copper prices is telling us not all is right with the global economy and that it is slowing faster than anticipated, said Robin Barr, the head of metals research for Societe Generale. Yeah, I mean, it goes on and on and on, but I'm telling you, people, take your attention off the shiny bauble and pay attention over here. Because I think that there's some big shit coming. And they've been saying that forever, but the signs are there.
Yeah, the signs are really there now and moving so fast.
Mm-hmm. Actually, while I was reading this, it made me remember something else that then I forgot as I was reading. But I know, I do remember. Hold on. Let's go to Pigmine's page because I know I didn't share this one yet because I ran out of time. I had 2 minutes from upstairs to downstairs to fill my cup, run, log into Skype, move my headphones, and get on. So I was like, oh, damn. I can't share this one. I'll have to share it later. And now it's probably buried under another 40 or 50 posts. Hey, here's the one about Schlumberger, though. Yes, Hammy posted a story about Schlumberger cutting 9,000 jobs, which is another Texas oil company. This just came out yesterday. And here, lo and behold, is a video clip. So here, I'll play this while I'm trying to find the other price crash that I talked about yesterday.
Okay.
Hold on, maybe, if this machine loads. Oh, it's spinning. Here we go. Oh, it's only 23 seconds.
I don't think you're going to have time.
They're just like so damn short. Come on, let's go. Otherwise, I'm going to have to read a story, and you're going to be sorry. Hurry up, Buttercup. And it's not. It's just spinning. All right, let's try load. More chicken. Nope, I have to kill it. Let me kill this. Kill this. Go. All right. So you know what? Here, I'm behind the curtain, so I could probably find that Schlumberger. Schlumberger. I had never heard of them. But here, Schlumberger confirms 9,000 layoffs coming. ABC.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, and actually, that was at 3:20 a.m. They must have updated it because I know I didn't get that story at 3:20 a.m. unless I saw it this morning. Houston. A large number of layoffs are coming at the oil field services company in Schlumberger. The company tells Eyewitness News that they are in the process of reducing their workforce by 9,000 jobs. This reduction represents about 7.3% for one company of Houston's based company's total global workforce. The layoffs started in the last quarter last year and will continue throughout 2015. No word yet on which specific jobs will be affected. Schlumberger said Thursday it is making the cuts in response to lower commodity prices and anticipated lower spending on exploration and production in 2015. The company recorded a $296 million charge associated with its move in its fourth quarter results. The price of oil has plunged in recent months, due in part to a surplus of oil. Prices have improved slightly in the last few days, but the price for a barrel of oil still remains below 50 after spending most of the last 4 years near 100.
Yeah.
And I thought I found one more story. Yes, actually, this one was from this morning. And we had looked at some of the Saudi connections yesterday, and I'm still going to call bullshit because I think that there's more going on than what we believe in regards to this oil thing, that it isn't just to say fuck you Russia in the embargo. I think the Saudis are pulling a lot more strings than what we think. And that article we read yesterday, it said that the Saudis wouldn't cut their OPEC production not because they wanted to screw and to help us screw Putin, but they wanted to kick the rug out from underneath our oil shale fracking, right?
And I believe that.
Mm-hmm. So here's a clip, and I haven't listened to this one yet either because I found this on my notebook with no sound, so we're going to listen to it together. But it is titled The Complex U.S. Relationship with Saudi Arabia. Now, I hope that this sucker plays.
The man in the white shirt, Raif Badawi, a Saudi Arabian citizen, sentenced to 10 years in prison and 1,000 lashes with a cane. His crime? Starting this blog called Free Saudi Liberals.
Every lash killed me.
His wife and 3 kids, fearing for their own safety, have now fled to Canada.
Raif did not do anything. Raif did not carry a weapon. Raif's only weapon was his pen.
Convicted of insulting Islam. This fate every Friday. Handcuffed, put on public display, and hit 50 times with a cane. His first round last Friday, 19 Fridays to go, 950 lashes ahead.
That's horrible.
The shocker here, the lashes carried out. The same week, the Saudi ambassador to France marched along with millions of others in the name of free speech. Saudi Arabia, home to Islam's holiest sites, Mecca and Medina, says in its system of Sharia law, the punishment fits the crime.
The kingdom will not back down on the issue of justice.
Badawi's case sharply criticized by human rights groups, the UN, and governments worldwide.
The United States government calls on Saudi authorities to cancel this brutal punishment.
But we've been here before. Saudi Arabia, long criticized for its dismal record on free speech, women's issues, death penalty by beheading, and cutting off of body parts for crimes such as theft.
The Saudis, they play to their own tune. They don't care.
Former CIA operative Robert Baer has written extensively about Saudi Arabia. He says the country, in large part, gets a pass, not only because it alone can control the price of oil, but it is America's best friend in a tough neighborhood.
I think the way we look at it is the Saudi royal family keeps a lid on a country that could come apart if it weren't for them. And it could be something much worse.
American presidents, whether Bush Sr., Clinton...
Oh, they showed Bush walking with Bandar here.
Clinton, Bush Sr., or Obama.
Hold on, wait, let's back that up. Here we go.
And it could be something much worse.
American presidents, whether Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush Jr., or Obama, have forged close relations with the Saudis. That relationship tested like never before after the September 11, 2001 terror attack. 15 of the 19 9/11 terrorists from Saudi Arabia.
We still haven't seen the 9/11 report related to Saudi Arabia and financing.
The kingdom has made reforms aimed at curbing terror financing, but classification of 28 of the 9/11 report's pages still hotly debated. It was highlighted in the 2004 Michael Moore film, Fahrenheit 9/11.
But when Congress did complete its own investigation, the Bush White House censored 28 pages of the report.
a sharp reminder of the dual nature of the U.S.-Saudi relationship, a relationship being questioned again because of this man, Raif Badawi, and his 1,000 lashes. Tomorrow, his wife says he's due for his next installment of 50 more. Miguel Marquez, CNN, New York.
Wow,
Yeah.
didn't that tie a lot of things together in that clip? You know, I actually posted his first lashes, and I thought I saw he had to go to the hospital afterward.
Oh, did he? I know. I read about his first one.
Oh, that's pretty
And because
fucked
they have
up.
all that oil, they can do anything, and nobody, does anything.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of 9/11 and terrorism, I also saw a story last night. CIA killed prisoners and made it look like a suicide via a Guantanamo guard that has come out. Now, who didn't see that coming?
Yeah.
They released 5 more Guantanamo prisoners, too, I saw.
Yeah, and did you see that about Poland? They're going after Poland because Poland allowed the U.S. to have one of their black prisons there and torture people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Poland's been a tool for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other things, now that we're here on the last half hour of the show, that I caught that was interesting is we have this normalization coming with Cuba.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of odd out of the blue, but it made me think, well, they've been friendly with Russia for a very long time. Guantanamo is in Cuba. Like, how did we get around that? That's something
How
that
did we get a piece of land in a country that we're banning, that we have sanctions against?
That is an enemy of ours, or was. Like, that's what I don't get. So here, Guantanamo, we're letting 5 prisoners go, 5 more, and I saw that there were a couple more that they let go just recently. They have been sent to some other country to live.
Right, not allowed to go home.
Yeah. We are normalizing relations. They started issuing driver's licenses in California, I saw, for illegal immigration, right? Did you see that? Illegal immigrants.
Yeah, I did.
And I just saw that the consulate, the Mexican consulate that was yesterday, can now start issuing Mexican birth certificates in the U.S.
Yeah, I've seen that too. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's some strange stuff going on. But in the meantime, we have the CIA recruiting high school students and brand spanking new. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Connect again. UK's MI5 starts a plan to train school children as secret agents.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, yes, yes. It's the new economy, people. Spies.
British Security Services MI5 has launched an operation aimed at training school children as secret agents. Children aged from 8 to 14 will apply for Operation Petra after registering in a popular TV show. Candidates will be assessed based on certain mental and physical tests.
They register through a TV show? Are you there? Zorie's gone again.
What was it, 8 to 14?
Yeah. Hold on, let's hear that again. I love that Press TV is the only one that reports on any of this stuff, too.
Yeah.
Iranian news. Here, hold on. Let's do it again. I want to hear that again.
Security Services MI5 has launched an operation aimed at training school children as secret agents. Children aged from 8 to 14 will apply for Operation Petra after registering in a popular TV show. Candidates will be assessed based on certain mental and physical tests.
So in the United States, what they do is they just have you play video games, and then they spy on your abilities to, like, blow up insurgents.
Well, did you hear they're offering guys a lot more money to fly their drones. The stress, people just don't want to do it, and the guys don't want to do it no more. And so they're offering them a lot more money because they're losing all their drone pilots.
Well, they're going to have to get some better video games and
recruit
more 18-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, this march is not pretty. It definitely is not pretty. I'm just not seeing a pretty future at all. Let's see what else. So one of the other things I was going to talk about, and I mentioned it yesterday, the Pentagon, of course, even though we apparently didn't train terrorists, this is what I've been yelled at multiple times, that really we had nothing to do with ISIS. Well,
Who said we didn't?
I'm not going to say, but I've had some big fights over this. And I mean, I've watched the whole thing for the last 2 years from Libya, with Stevens, with the gun running, I mean, it's all been orchestrated. And then I remember Madison doing a story how it was legal for us to support and send donations to the one terrorist group that was designated by the State Department to be on our side.
Right.
That was just ridiculous. It was admitted that the CIA trained all those guys in Turkey and in Jordan.
All the arms.
The weapons. Yeah. So here we go. This actually was from this morning, 2 hours ago. Breaking news. Oh, would you believe it?
Syria, ground zero for the ISIS threat, and the question has been how to get to it. So now the next step, about 400 U.S. troops and potentially hundreds of additional military personnel will deploy to Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar to help train vetted moderate Syrian rebels, train and equip them. This has been a step in the program. The U.S. needs boots on the ground inside Syria, not American boots, but moderate Syrian rebels that will be able to fight ISIS. Big problem. How do you know these people will really do it? How do you know you're not just handing them a weapon and they go back in and join some militant group? So this has been very slow going. But now the next step being taken, they want to train some 5,000 moderate Syrian rebels. And if it all works, if it does, it will give the United States, for the first time, eyes and ears on the ground inside Syria, give them more intelligence about what is going on, where ISIS is, how it's moving around, its leadership, its communications, and how to fight it.
What's that?
Hold on. I think so.
So hold on.
I can't find the window it was in. There's too many windows open now. So how's that? We need, we don't need boots on the ground, but we need a presence in there. I almost thought that when that the girlfriend of one of the quote unquote terrorists that attacked in France disappeared, and then they said that they think that she made it out and got to Syria. I was like, oh shit, here we go. A justification to send boots across the border to go hunting for her. They haven't yet. But hey, look, we're going to train. We're going to have
8-year-old kids.
8-year-old kids to be MI5.
What parent would allow that shit?
Well, guess what? That's going to be where the jobs are.
An 8-year-old?
Well, hey, get your kid in with the right people. I mean, isn't that how the Stasi happened?
Yeah.
Let's make sure you keep your children safe and get them working for the machine. But remember, they get lined up against the wall. Isn't that what the CIA or the KGB guy said? They play the game thinking they're going to be part of it. And what happens in the end? They line them up against the wall and they shoot them.
And that's what we've been saying all along. It's going to happen to law enforcement. They're always the first ones they kill.
But hey, they got new body armor paid with taxpayer dollars.
Oh, I gotta read this to you. I came across this and I just went, oh, you were talking about karma earlier. Police open fire on undercover narc cop during a $60 drug bust.
Oh, I saw that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wait, roll down. Okay. Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't go there if you paid me now. Okay, it says, an undercover detective was shot by a fellow officer during a botched sting operation designed to net a couple of low-level drug offenders. The embarrassing mishap shines yet another spotlight on a department already embroiled in controversy. Albuquerque Police Department has one of the highest police shooting rates in the country.
By the way, they are also under Department of Justice oversight right now.
That's right, yeah. And then they go shooting each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it goes, let's see. And 2 APD officers were recently charged with murdering a homeless man who was trying to camp without a permit. Sting operation gone wrong.
Right.
The
And
latest
we all saw that video. I mean, that was unwarranted. And I really hope that they get convicted. There were 2 of them that actually have been charged. Mm-hmm.
Right. But you know what? I wouldn't hold my breath.
Right. I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. Okay. The 2 undercover APD officers, now identified as Detective Holly Garcia and Detective Jacob Grant, were in the process of staging a $60 drug transaction with 2 male suspects driving a black Lexus. The 2 narcs picked up the 2 male suspects near a park off East Central. Miss Garcia had previously arranged to set up a suspect, Damian Bailey, with some shards, slang for methamphetamines, with Mr. Bailey in the front passenger seat and Officer Grant and suspect Edmund Vester in the back seat. She drove to a nearby Eco Lodge where the deal was completed. Mr. Vester was allegedly the one who entered the motel room and returned to the car with the drugs. Unbeknownst to the suspects, the vehicle was being followed by additional police officers from the Special Investigation Division, driving multiple unmarked trucks. The team was waiting for Miss Garcia to give them a secret signal to move in. Garcia drove the car to a nearby McDonald's restaurant parking lot, where she was given a quantity of glass shards-like substance, which she presumed to be meth, according to the complaint. During that time, a predetermined arrest signal was administered and related to assisting detectives, the complaint continued. Both individuals were taken into custody at the scene and transported to the Foothill substation before being subsequently booked into the Metropolitan Detention Center without injury or incident. The document curiously omits the most significant part of the event, the part where the Special Investigation Division swooped in and shot one of the undercover agents.
Whoops.
Whoops. And they left that out of the report.
Yeah.
It goes, I thought maybe McDonald's was getting robbed. Police are remaining secretive about the exact circumstances that led to the gunfire. The criminal complaint against Vester and Bailey is vague and makes no mention of the suspects possessing a weapon at any of the scene. However, several witnesses saw the event unfold and said that masked men resembling robbers swarmed the scene and later confiscated eyewitnesses' videos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And, there have been 3 or 4 cases of that recently of people being arrested videotaping or filming.
Yeah, but they didn't arrest them, though, but they took
confiscated, yeah.
Yeah, they took their phones and stuff. It says, we saw unmarked vehicles pull up, these Ram trucks or whatever, and surrounded this vehicle so it couldn't back up and escape. Wallace Anderson, who saw most of the incident unfold, told News 13. And then at that point, the shots happened and the guy was dragged to the pavement and handcuffed. Oh, they not only shot him, they handcuffed him.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
So they obviously didn't know he was an undercover narc?
Right. Let's see. It says Destiny Jackson had a different vantage point from her motel room at the Echo Lodge. I heard yelling. I looked out the window and just seen a bunch of guys with masks on. Jackson said, I thought maybe McDonald's was getting robbed or something. I didn't know what was going on. Her brother, Tyler Jackson, captured a video recording of the drug bust gone haywire with his tablet. He said the police took the recording. Now, what do these people do? Stick the camera right up in the cop's face? If I was there, I would have my camera where no one would see me.
Right. Well, I did that story, I think it might have been in Colorado, where, and we talked about that the one day. I don't know if the guy was accused of cocaine trafficking, maybe. He had it in a sock. He was trying to stuff it in his mouth as they were taking him down, and his pregnant girlfriend was screaming. And some guy off to the side was filming the whole interaction as they tripped the girlfriend. She was pregnant. They tripped her. She fell on the ground, and they're kicking the dude, trying to get him to drop the sock, not to swallow the evidence. And they came at the guy who was recording. He ended up, they wiped it out from his phone, and he had it synced up to the cloud, so he retrieved it after he got home. But then I thought that I had read, and all these stories start to blend after a while, but I thought then that he was a target. They came after him for like some dumb traffic ticket or something as retaliation.
Yeah, they did the same thing for the Garner guy. Garner's
right. I did a story on that one too. Yes,
yeah, he's
exactly.
in jail, and they arrested his wife.
Yeah. Yep. So you definitely don't want to be visible recording. No. It's a pretty ugly.
Come after you.
Pretty ugly future that's being painted here.
Mm-hmm. I just thought that one was kind of funny, especially that they omitted that from the report. That, I mean, an officer being shot, that's a pretty big deal to leave out of the report.
Mm-hmm.
One
thing, though, that this tells me, and as I'm seeing more and more of these stories, it is very apparent to me that there are secret agents everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There are informants everywhere.
Yep.
They'll pay you $50 Walmart gift card for dialing 1-800-NARC on your neighbor.
Hey, they were invading. They had the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, all in WOW and Second Life. They had so many agencies in there. They had to form a special agency so they didn't run into each other. Because
you mean in the online game?
Yeah. They were so sure that people were using code in there and stuff to, plan terrorism things. I mean, they had so many agents in there that they were running into each other and stuff. It was crazy. That was last year.
Yeah, well, it's gotten way beyond that. I just saw a clip from probably 15 or 20 minutes ago. Oh, no, this is 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Are you done with your story?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, so here we go. It's coming, people. And I mean, it's already happened. Keith Alexander kicked this one off, but now it is coming to a computer near you.
Britain and America are joining forces to thwart terrorist cyber attacks and communication online. David Cameron is in Washington to meet President Obama. The pair will be discussing the need to intercept online communications and the setting up of a unit specifically to defeat cyber attacks. It will also be aimed at protecting key parts of the British infrastructure, such as government departments and the Bank of England. Under the plans, GCHQ and MI5 would join with the National Security Agency and the FBI to create a program of simulated war games involving attacks on the City and Wall Street to test their resilience. They will aim to improve the flow of information between the US and UK about threats.
We shouldn't leave a safe space in which terrorists can communicate with each other. And actually, if you look at what for instance, the head of the FBI has been saying recently, he's very much been making the same sorts of points. We face the same challenge in Britain and in America. We're free countries, free societies, where we don't want to interfere with the privacy and civil liberties of our citizens. But in extremis, it's
life is made up of moments.
The proper processes to make sure that if terrorists are talking to each other or communicating with each other and are about to commit an outrage, it's always been necessary to try and intercept that and try to stop those bombs, those attacks, those murders taking place.
The first exercise will be a staged attack on the financial sector and will take place later this year. Agents will also cooperate in cyber cells on both sides of the Atlantic.
I don't even know what to say.
I mean, what did he mean by we believe in freedom, but we're going to spy on everything you do or say? That's crazy. That's such an oxymoron.
Well, just remember that Microsoft Cyber Patrol, I find it interesting that there have been no mentions of that in any of the mainstream after we found that video.
That's true.
But Microsoft has partnered with all of global law enforcement. They say that in their video. You know what? I might even be able to find that. That I favorited in the on UCY's YouTube. I have set it up so that anything that I like, I have my playlist on the main page of the UCY YouTube page. Hold on, my channel. So I might not actually like a video, but it's something that I want to have in that playlist. Yeah. You know, so don't think me a horrible person if it has blood and guts on it. Because it isn't that I'm liking the blood and guts. It's that I want to stick it into my liked playlist on the UCY YouTube so you guys can watch it. Yeah. And that is youtube.com/UCY TV with no dot because the dot caused issues. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to scroll through there because we've played that a million times. But just remember, this has been already a while ago that they announced that. And what's interesting is that you haven't heard anything about it. Did you notice that?
I noticed that.
Shouldn't that be like out in the forefront, Microsoft, to keep you safe from the business perspective and the national perspective, working with, global law enforcement everywhere to keep your infrastructure and your children online safe? But no, you don't hear a word. Because guess what? Microsoft has the back door.
Yep.
They have the back door everywhere. They are like...
What do you think all those updates are doing to your machine? I've never updated mine, and I've never had a problem.
Well, mine forces it. Mine happens even if I hadn't seen.
I have my updates shut off completely.
Hey, I got a video from like way, way, way down in the bottom, the 28-page report on 9/11 you can't see. Hey, we might have to play that one. That just showed up in a video. So, all right, guys, guess what? It is Friday. We made it. And
wow, we did.
We did. I didn't think I was going to make it, honestly.
I didn't either. I'm going to sleep immediately after. I'm so tired.
I'm at the tail end of 12 hours, so I'm pretty awake, as you can tell.
Yeah.
I got my heater I'm going to plug in here and see if I can get this room toasty, too.
Yeah. Everybody have a great weekend, please.
Yeah, try to. Lots and lots and lots and lots of great programming this weekend, right? Saturday and Sundays are put on your thinking cap days. Put on your thinking cap days. I got a cut like a madwoman today, too.
No, you want your tinfoil hat.
Yes, tinfoil hats on. Make sure you aim them to the north.
Yeah.
I haven't cut any shows yet for the weekend, so it's going to be a busy afternoon for me. But, and it's a long weekend for the kids. Martin Luther King Day on Monday.
Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me, because I don't ever know when it's a 3-day weekend unless somebody tells me.
Yes, it is a 3-day weekend. And hey, look what I just found in the playlist. Oh, hold on. I have to connect us back up.
Okay.
The gong.
The gong. Remember
the Gong Show, yes.
The Gong Show.
All right, guys, that's it. So make sure you stick around. We got Josh on live tonight at 6 p.m. It's Friday, man. I can't even believe it. Replay of Dr. George Simon's episode this week. Character Matters, Truth on the Tracks. Replay was a great one. 9 p.m. 10 p.m. United Front Radio with Danielle and Kyle was another great one. 10. And Anti-Media Live with Levon tonight at 11. All right, guys, take care. Have a beer. It's Friday. And we'll catch up with you on Monday. Talk to you later.